All right, what's going on, Dolphins fans? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. For the last few years, Miami Dolphins have arguably, and I don't really think it's an argument, have had the most polarizing quarterback in the entire NFL, and that is Tua. It's so polarizing that it's even polarizing within their own fan base, and you see that here on this Dolphins channel where it's me, it's Donovan, and we have two very different opinions when it comes to Tua, and that is seen throughout the rest of the fan base and really throughout the rest of the football world. Some guys think he stinks. Some guys think he's awesome. I like to think I'm more down the middle and just call him for what he is. But everybody has an opinion on Tua. Every football fan really has an opinion on Tua, and that is now kind of shifted in terms of who's the most polarizing quarterback in the NFL. That's kind of now shifted over to Brock Purdy, especially now that the San Francisco 49ers are in the Super Bowl, and there's a lot of talk going about how much he is actually to be given, how much credit he should be given for the 49ers getting this far and making the Super Bowl, and how good of a quarterback he truly is. You have guys like Cam Newton saying he's not even the 10th best player, or I think he said he is the 10th best player on the San Francisco 49ers. And really, if you go down, break down each player on the Niners, he might not even be the 10th. However, he's still done an excellent job and deserves credit for getting to where he has as the Niners quarterback, getting to the Super Bowl. And I think it's a very valid conversation to be had. Who is better between Tua and Brock Purdy? So just off the jump, just the easiest way to measure two individuals playing the same position in the same sport is to take a look at their stats. And you look at the stats, it's very close. Everything is very close. Tua on the season, you'll see here on the screen, 69.3% completion percentage, 4,600 yards thrown, 8.3 yards per attempt, a 29-14 touchdown to interception ratio, and he was sacked 29 times, a passer rating of 101.1, and a QBR of 60.8. Conversely, if you look over to Brock Purdy's stats on the season, 69.4 completion percentage, 4280 yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, 31-11 touchdown to interception ratio, sacked 28 times, 113 passer rating, and a 72.7 QBR. Those of you who have a keen eye may have noticed that the only stat that Tua is better than Brock Purdy at is yards. But when you go and look beyond a little bit further, you look at the yards per attempt, 8.3 to 9.6. Really, that just means if Brock Purdy threw the ball more, and obviously in that Niners offense, he doesn't have to throw the ball that much with Christian McCaffrey behind him, Deebo Samuel, who is somebody who can act as an impromptu running back. He's pretty much winning every single statistical category over Tua. I thought that was something that was very interesting. And then you look down at the rushing numbers, and while Brock Purdy has gotten better, 13 yards in his first season, 144 yards this season, Tua on the other side has actually gotten worse as the season's gone on since that 2021 season where he played the entire season, where 2020 came in about halfway. In 2020, 109 yards compared to a full season of work, or just about because he got hurt in there. 128 followed by 70 yards in 2022 and 74 yards in 2023. Hasn't found the end zone on a rushing attempt since that 2021 season, which he did 3 times. So Brock Purdy has provided athleticism, and not Lamar, not even Patrick Mahomes really athleticism, but the ability to move his wheels, and has gotten consistently better at it, where it looks like Tua has gotten consistently worse. So statistic-wise, I'm looking at Brock Purdy and saying he is the better quarterback. And then the eye test, the situational examination between the two. And you look, it's a very similar situation where they're both blessed with two stud wide receivers, with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk with the San Francisco 49ers, and then over with the Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Then you go beyond that, and Brock Purdy certainly has a significant advantage from that point on in terms of the offensive line. Has George Kittle, who, in my opinion, is the best tight end in football right now. If he was in an offense where he could be the number one option, he would show that. However, Ayuk, Deebo, CMC, he's not going to get that number one workload that some other star tight ends might. And then one of the guys I just mentioned, CMC, in the backfield is undoubtedly the best running back in the game. He gets a Super Bowl this year. he could easily win Super Bowl MVP and then is pretty much just a lock to make the Hall of Fame at that point. So situation wise, Brock Purdy definitely has a better situation in terms of what he's playing with. Also, you look not just on his side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball. The San Francisco 49ers have a all-pro potential Hall of Famer at pretty much every single position group. Frank Warner at linebacker, at middle linebacker. It's really between him and Roquan Smith of the Ravens as to who the best middle linebacker is. You have Bosa on the edge, arguably the best edge rusher. Hufanga as a safety. It goes all around that defense. You see just guys who are arguably the best at their position. Where the Miami Dolphins, we have Jalen Ramsey, who you could argue for. You have Javon Holland, who you could argue for. He's probably just fringe top 5, maybe probably just outside that top 5. Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are definitely nice pieces, but the defense last year, it was hit or miss. Sometimes it was great, sometimes not so much. Whereas the 49ers, you're getting consistency. And then at head coach, Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel in his second year is also a run guy on offense. So even though they're both offensive coaches, Mike McDaniel's specialty is actually in the run game. Whereas Kyle Shanahan, he's had a multitude of years. He was Kyle Shanahan's offensive coordinator. So just overall, situation-wise, it's definitely going to be given to Brock Purdy as he has had the easier time because of what tools he is given in the situation around him with coaching, with defense, with weapons, with offensive line. All that goes away with Brock Purdy. So Tua is fighting more of an uphill battle than Brock Purdy has. So in that instance, you give the slight favor to Tua. And then it comes down to situational in terms of himself. Not what's going on with the team, but just the two guys, you stack them up, you stack up what they do on a football field, the results that they get, and it's hard to argue against Brock Purdy. He came in that game where we played them. The Miami Dolphins played the San Francisco 49ers last year. Jimmy Garoppolo goes down with an ankle/foot injury early in that game last year. Brock Purdy steps in and doesn't miss a beat and takes them all the way to the conference championship game without losing a single game. And then the first game that he loses as starter was when his elbow gets busted up. And then this year, making it back to that conference championship game and now making the Super Bowl, whereas Tua has yet to win a playoff game as the Dolphins starter. He's yet to win the division as the Dolphins starter. There's a lot pointing in the right direction of Brock Purdy. Now, the argument against Brock Purdy as well. You see what he's doing. You could argue that the San Francisco 49ers offense would be even better with Sam Darnold as the quarterback instead of Brock Purdy. He has more athleticism. He has the bigger arm. He's taller. He's stronger. Those just natural attributes you like in an athlete, you find in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold didn't work with the Jets with that high draft pick. You're going to New York. Maybe doesn't quite have the moxie to survive there. And then he goes to Carolina. We see what the crap show is there. You put him into that 49ers offense. When Brock Purdy got hurt in, I believe it was the Ravens game where he got pulled out, and then Sam Darnold went in, Sam Darnold looked very comfortable. He looked like he was able to operate the offense at ease, whereas down here in Miami, every time we've seen somebody outside of Tua, since Tua has taken over as the full-time starter in that 2021 season, every other quarterback who's filled into his shoes, we have seen a significant drop-off, whether that's Jacoby Brissett, whether that's Teddy Bridgewater, whether that's Skylar Thompson, whether that's Mike White, whether that's any other quarterback, we have seen a significant drop-off in the Miami Dolphins offense whenever there's been anybody else under center compared to when Tua is under center. Tua has gotten us to the playoffs. He got us to the playoffs last year, really without even playing at the end. He did enough to get us to the playoffs, got hurt. Skylar Thompson came in, won one game, and that was enough to get us all the way into the playoffs. So we've taken a look at their stats. We take a look at their situation. We took a look for Tua, what he's had to go against. We took a look with Brock Purdy, what he's done since he's become the starter, what he's gotten to. And if I'm going to be honest, I think I'd rather take Brock Purdy as my quarterback than I would Tua. Now, let me make it clear. It is incredibly close when it comes to these two. I went into this assuming that Tua was the more accurate quarterback, which I was mistaken. The accuracy, while it is very close, Tua 69.3, Brock Purdy 69.4. You literally cannot get any closer. That was the one thing that I was giving Tua, that, okay, he is better when it comes to accuracy, but that's just not the case. Then you have the athleticism. You have less turnovers. You have more touchdowns, and I 100% get and agree with that Brock Purdy's situation is better. But it is a results business. And when I see Brock Purdy on the field, I see somebody who looks very comfortable. I see somebody who doesn't seem like he's doubting himself. Whether it's Tua's fault or not, and I would definitely lean it's not his fault. It's not Tua's fault that his first couple years pretty much had his psyche, his moxie killed by Brian Flores for one reason or another. Obviously, Brian Flores did not think he was the guy and did not want to trust Tua to be the guy. Tua still definitely looks a little bit scared. And when he's coming against better teams, you see the happy feet start to come in. You see more turnovers, and you see his play drop. And you see the Miami Dolphins lose games with only two teams, one game each the last 2 years where we've beaten a team above 500. Brock Purdy, while yes, he definitely got destroyed by the Ravens this year, just got his team to the Super Bowl. He had to have beaten good teams. And another argument that you say against Brock Purdy is, well, in the games this year to get to the Super Bowl, he actually got outclassed by the quarterback opposing him on the other side of the field. Green Bay, Jordan Love, Jordan Love didn't look great, but that last drive where he threw the interception definitely looked really bad. But I'd say Jordan Love played better and is certainly a better quarterback than Brock Purdy is. And then in the NFC Championship game, Jared Goff was dealing. Jared Goff was probably last of the reasons on the list why the Detroit Lions lost that football game. He was playing very well. Brock Purdy was playing okay, was playing all right, and then he came alive in the fourth quarter, and we saw a little bit of that clutch. We saw a little bit of the mox. We saw a little of the confidence. We saw when he takes that knee to win the game, him going over to the sideline, him letting out all that emotion. It didn't seem like a sigh of relief. It was just genuine, pure excitement, and you can tell the team believes in him. Now, is some of that artificial because they want to believe in him and they have no other choice but to believe in him right now? Certainly, probably. I think it was Deebo Samuel was wearing a Brock Purdy jacket or t-shirt or something along those lines earlier last week. Some of that definitely is like we saw with Tua. Like, you kind of just have to support the guy at this point. You have no other choice. But I definitely am leaning Brock Purdy, taking him over Tua just narrowly. I think if you throw Tua on the San Francisco 49ers, they very well could have gotten to the Super Bowl just like they did this year. But if you put Brock Purdy on the Miami Dolphins, maybe we win a playoff game. Maybe rather than having to play Kansas City in Arrowhead, maybe we win one of those games earlier this season that we lost to a good team, whether that is against the Buffalo Bills last game of the season, whether that's against the Kansas City Chiefs over in Germany where you really had them in the ropes there that whole second half. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Which of the two quarterbacks would you prefer? I know a lot of people listening into this, especially a lot of Dolphins fans, those of you who are watching this channel, are likely a very strong and devout Miami Dolphins fan. So most of your natural inclination is to, regardless one way or another, to defend your quarterback, to defend Tua, to believe that he is your guy. I'm just asking you to be a little objective. I know it's difficult when you want to come over here on social media, and I already hear the keyboards clicking about why they think Tua. Let me know. Whatever your opinion is, one way or another, do you think it's Brock? Do you think it's Tua? Let me know down in the comments below. Who do you think is the better quarterback, and who would you rather have as the Miami Dolphins starting quarterback going forward? Who is more likely to get a big contract extension, and for how much money when it comes time? That is still to be determined. We'll still find out whether Tua gets his contract extension. We'll see what happens to Brock Purdy after this season's over. He still has a big game to play in the Super Bowl, and that game could change my opinion on him. We will see. But till then, that's all I got. Let me know down below again what you think about the two quarterbacks. While down there, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Thank y'all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, everybody.